Hello everyone, this is Wade from High Tech Legion. With over 1,000 videos uploaded, if you haven't seen it here, you may not have seen it anywhere. What I have behind me is the Thermaltake Urban S31 mid-tower computer case, and in this video I will be doing a component installation and showing you benchmarks for how the case tests as well. So let's get to installing components. So the first thing we installed into the case was a power supply, standard ATX power supply. So we put the 4 screws into the back, and this actually sits up off the bottom of the case a little bit. And I ran all the cables through the bottom rubber grommet here to be run back in for the motherboard. And so you can see that the rubber grommet covers those cables nicely, and there's plenty of room to put the thicker 24-pin cable through the back there. Next I'm going to install the motherboard into the case, and I did have to add one standoff here for a standard ATX board. All the rest of them were already in place. Over here is where you would add standoffs if you were using a micro ATX board. At this point we've got the power supply installed as well as the standard ATX motherboard, and we have a large heatsink in place. The heatsink itself will fit, but since the fans stick up just a little bit, they actually touch the side panel when it's put on. So this is pretty much the maximum size heatsink that could be placed into the system. I've also got the power supply cables plugged into the motherboard, as well as all our front panel ports, and the hard drive dock that's on top of the case is also hooked up into the SATA connection. So next let's install a video card into the system. That's going to be done simply by pulling the 2 screws on the expansion ports here and sliding the card in place, putting the 2 screws back in, and connecting up our PCI Express power. Here we have our video card in place. This is an older video card, and thus it's pretty long. This case does support longer video cards, and the top hard drive cage also is removable, so if you had an even longer video card you could lose 3 hard drive bays and put a card all the way up to the front almost of the case without an issue. So now let's install some hard drives and the optical drive into the case and fire it up. So I've pulled 2 of the hard drive cages out and installed a 3.5-inch drive and a 2.5-inch drive into the system. The hard drive trays simply slide out by squeezing the ends here, and then you're able to install a 3.5-inch drive simply by popping it onto the nubs, and the 2.5-inch drive screws in through the bottom with 4 screws. So let me show you those installations. So here's your 3.5-inch drive. It pretty much just sits in the tray. You put 2 sides onto the nubs and then pop the other side in and slide it back onto the tray. For your 2.5-inch drive, that's where it sits on the back side of the tray, and on the bottom you put the 4 screws in onto the bottom of the drive. Then you again slide this back into your drive bays and snap it into place. Then you connect up your SATA power and data cables as usual to the back and to your motherboard, and those will be all set. So let's install the optical drive next. Here we're going to install the optical drive. The first thing I did actually was pop off the front bezel here. It just comes off of the 3 clips in the front pretty easily. You just pull it straight off, and then it can pop right back on, no problem. So if you want to make your life a little easier, you can do that, though it's definitely you're definitely able to install it with that in place. So the first thing we have to do is we have to pop these front blanks. So you're going to have to squeeze the button here to release it, and then the blank will pop out of place. sometimes you got to push them a little bit from the back just to get them out the rest of the way. Then you're going to take your optical drive and you're going to put it on the tracks, and once you can't go any further, you can push the button on the side for the clip to release it, and then push this into place the rest of the way. And it snaps right in, and then that's installed. So it's a completely toolless install for the 5 1/4 inch drive bays. Then you will connect up your SATA and data power cables to the back of that drive as usual. So here we have the completed component installation for the Thermaltake Urban S31 mid-tower computer case. So now let's take a look at the benchmarks. And the completed component installation for the Thermaltake Urban S31. I hope you enjoyed this video, and for the full review please see www.hightechlegion.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook pages. Also check out the overview video which shows you all the details of the features on the case on our YouTube channel. Take care.